Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to a beautiful game that has been played in the latest Tata Steel event in the amazing Tata Steel Masters in 2024. We have here the incredible gameplay by the winner Wijk against Vidit Santosh Gujrathi from this last round of the spectacular chess tournament where basically everyone could beat everyone. We didn't know who would be the winner to the last rounds of this event because we have seen many ups and downs by players. We have seen many also great winning games by Black, so in my opinion it was a beautiful start of 2024. Very dynamic tournament we have seen for sure. Let's congratulate again Wijk for winning this tournament. I think he was the deserved winner because when we add everything here, I think Wijk played simply the most dynamic chess, the most aggressive chess. Also in the tie breaks, he played simply the most accurate chess. And as I said, congratulations to Wijk because this is really, I think, a huge thing for him. And in the next couple of days, we're going to cover more and more of his beautiful chess games that he performed in this amazing chess event. So let's see now this game, Wijk versus Vidit Santosh Gujrathi with the white pieces. Wijk opened with the move d4. Vidit's response was d5. We have knight to f3, and after move knight to f6, we have now a calm setup, a tricky setup here. The Colle system is now here Wajik's decision. This seems like a maybe passive setup by white, but the idea is clear. After a couple more moves and c5 here by Vidit, Wijk plays now a solid structure. I would call it this semi-Slav structure, but in a reverse way. You know, when Black is playing the semi-Slav defense, now White is doing the same, but of course in a reversed way. And we have to say it, always when you play maybe even a passive opening with the white pieces, still you're always up a tempo because you are playing first in the beginning. So the semi-Slav defense itself, I think in the beginning is a solid opening for Black, but now you're playing it basically with an extra tempo, which is I think nothing wrong here in Wajik's setup. Although the engine gives here already equal chances for both sides, still I kind of like this preparation, this slow build up here by white, but then the position will simply explode in the center of the board. We have now the move e6 by Vidit, bishop to d3. After knight from b to d7, Wijk plays now on the most progressive idea of this opening, plays now knight to d2, and with the idea to play d takes c5 and then to hit the center with the move e4. Here we have bishop to d6 by Vidit. We have kingside castling also by Vidit, and now rook to e1, preparing now this breakthrough idea with the move e4. And here I think Vidit already doesn't react correctly. That's why I choose to show you this game because this game I think is very instructive how sometimes even top GMs don't react correctly to any of this opening. So here Vidit played queen to c7, and I think 90% of any players would play this move. Seems pretty logical to play this kind of an idea, hitting the h2 pawn. But what Vidit forgot here, I think, a little bit, is that he has to battle for the center. He has to search for a clarification in the center of the board because we have now really a dynamic collision in the center of the board. And whenever you have collisions, you have to do something about these collisions. Here, I think the normal two choices were maybe for Vidit to play the move e5. This would be, I think, a decent choice, very dynamic opportunity, or maybe even the more accurate when it comes to computer evaluations is to play the move c4, kicking with the bishop, and then to hit the flanks here with the move b5. If, for instance, White commits himself with the move e4 immediately, then after d takes e4, knight to e4, knight to e4, rook to e4, you're getting out with the bishop with the tempo, and I think this is a solid position for Black. We can play knight to f6, even knight to d5 later, keeping really progressive ideas around the square d5. So this was maybe Vidit's choice, a better choice here to continue from Black's perspective. But he played queen to c7, and you see now what was the actual idea about this slow build-up by Wijk. Wijk immediately breaks the center, e4. We have here c takes d4, c takes d4, d takes e4, knight to e4, and now after move b6, here Vidit again prepares this idea to battle for the center of the board around the square e4. We have now bishop to g5 by Wijk, and Wijk is of course threatening knight takes f6, and after knight to f6, bishop to f6 to mess up the pawn structure in front of Black's king, and the only way to prevent it is actually the move bishop to e7, and bishop to e7 would have been also the best choice here for Vidit. This was, I think, the only really good move for black here. After a couple of trades of pieces, maybe around the square f6, we have to notice that white is still left with an isolated d pawn. White is keeping this structural disadvantage through the whole game now, so I think this would be much easier to play here for Vidit. But he played now knight takes e4 instead of bishop to e7. It's tough move to find a retreating move to e7. After move knight to e4, he basically invites now here Weiji's rook into the attack, and from this point on, I think white is much better. Look at this attacking formation: bishop active, knight active, rook active, with ideas to get it on h4, bishop hitting h7, queen can be always included into the defense, and the only defender that can maybe get into the defense is the knight on f6. But I think if that happens, knight takes f6 we will play immediately. Bishop takes f6 will be played immediately here by white, messing up the pawn structure, getting the rook, hitting the h7, getting the queen into the game. So very messed up position, I think, for black, and we're now in move 13, and here I think white, I will not say it's completely winning, but it's really a tough time now for Vidit to defend his position. Vidit tries, of course, bishop to b7, rook to c1, beautiful counterattack. That's the way to go, because when we get attacked, we should search first of all for counterattack possibilities. That's the beauty about this move by Weiji. Forces basically here Vidit to get out of this mess, but here Vidit is at least trying to keep his chances around the square h2. Now Weiji plays, of course, rook to h4, and from this point on, I think the game becomes simply one-way ticket in white's favor. What should you do? You cannot play, of course, bishop to f3 here, because you get this intermediate attack, queen to f3, and the game is over. So after rook to h4, we have f5, locking now the diagonal against the light square bishop. But now Weiji is saying, okay, you have maybe solved one problem, but now you got another one. Now there is a huge weakness in this backward pawn on e6. We have queen to e8, and of course queen to b3. It's very easy now for Weiji to find the next best moves. And again, the only way maybe here for Vidit to survive this attack, I'm not saying he would defend this position till the end, but that was now the only way here to make anything out of this position with the move bishop takes f3, because if you play here bishop to e6 immediately, then after king to h8, and you have to play g takes f3, although you gain the pawn, but you cannot recapture here the bishop with the queen, because the queen is then disconnected from the bishop. You could maybe try here queen to f3, but now with queen to g6, at least you are defending this position for a while. That's the only line that I think helps out black. But after move queen to b3, after move queen to b3 here, Vidit played king to h8, another blunder, which of course made, I think, the life for white really easy here, because the pawn on e6 is basically unprotectable anymore. We have bishop to e4, Weiji simply grabs the pawn, queen to g6. Now the queen comes into the defense, but it's a little bit late. Now Weiji plays a beautiful maneuver, bishop to d2, with the preparation to play knight to g5. We have knight to f6. Vidit brings a new defender into the game, knight to g5, and again, there's not so much that can be done. Vidit messed up the whole position. Now what he's hoping for is maybe that Weiji makes a mistake. Maybe he's not punishing this strange opening choice here by black. What should black do? If you play here even h6, then look at this, f3 kicks away the bishop, and then we play knight to f7. Knight to f7 would not be possible without move f3. If you play knight to f7 without f3, then you get checkmated. So f3, then bishop to b7, knight to f7, you go with your king here, we pick up the bishop, game over again here for black. So this is not working. h6 is not working here, so that's why f4 by Vidit Santosh Gujrathi. But now Weiji found the ultimate stunner of this game. Maybe you can pause the video if you like and find the best next move here for white. Take your time. It's not maybe easy to see, but it's really a stunning tactic that Weiji performed here, and it's, I think, also the most accurate one. Okay, here Weiji plays the beautiful rook takes h7, sacrifices the exchange in order to get this bishop on e4. This bishop on e4 was always the key attacker of whites. Now it's taken, and now after something like f3, g3 here, Vg played, locking of course the g file. We have bishop to e7, and now the pawn is marching on d5. Really cool tactic. Tough to find, tough to even to proceed here, because you're still not, of course, you're not still winning this game, but you have, I think, very nice ideas, especially now here the bishop on e6 is really the most powerful piece on the board. Rook from a to d8, here Vg simply attacks the pawn, now he attacks the b pawn, we have bishop to b4, couples rates, and now h4, creating, of course, more breathing spaces for the king, and this pawn is basically unstoppable. What should black do? Here in the game, rook to a8 was played by Vidit. If you play even knight to f6, then still the pawn is marching. You can maybe trade off. The problem is now you cannot deflect the queen from the defense of the rook, because after queen takes d6, queen to e4, also the rook on f8 is hanging, so you don't have time. You can maybe try here queen to f6, then after something like queen to d5, simply pushing the pawn further, getting a check, getting this other pieces into the attack, in maybe this potential line. Look at this, just as a stockfish line that I'm showing you here. Here again, white should be much better. The rook is simply stuck to the defense of the promotion on d8, so it's not a position that works here for black. So that's why after move h4, here we have rook to a8 by Vidit Santos Gujrathi, but now the knight is coming into the game with the threat to play knight to f7. So that's why if you rook to a7 was played, let's see what happens if you play, for instance, rook to a2, then knight to f7 takes, but here we have queen to e8 as an intermediate attack. You cannot, of course, cover with the rook because the queen is lost. For instance, try knight to f8, then bishop to f7 is again, I think, winning the game simply here for white. So that's why after move knight to d6, rook to a7, covering the f7 square, we have queen to b6. Now Vg is simply grabbing all of these pawns, rook to a2, and now again with the idea to play knight to f7, knight to f6, knight to f7 is now the next move by white, and after king to h7, knight to e5, hitting the queen, queen to h6, and now queen to c2 check. We have now the move g6, and now a beautiful stunning move, knight takes g6, played by Vg. Great tactic. You cannot, of course, take queen to g6, because after bishop to f5, you're losing decisive material. This pawn is marching. It's again game over for black. After knight to g6, we have rook from a to a8, and now knight to e5, discovered attack. The problem is now, if you go here with your king to h8, then you get the fork on f7. So that's why king to g7 had to be played, but now queen to c7, and in this position, Vidit Santos Gujrathi resigned. Of course, if you play here to f8, then queen to f7 is a checkmate. If you play here, then again the fork on f7 is working, so it's again game over here for Vidit Santos Gujrathi. After queen to c7, he resigned in this particular position. So great game by Vg. Interesting choices here. The Colle system is not so often played, especially not in this way. It's, of course, a seemingly passive opening for white in the beginning, but you see it has really some dirty ideas. It has some cool tactical opportunities. So in my opinion, great game here by Vg. And with this win, actually Vg equalized the result and managed to get into the tie breaks. Then he won the tie breaks against Gukesh in the end. In my opinion, great win, but also instructive game for sure here, performed by the top grandmaster from China, Vg. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Cool ideas for sure. If you want to see some other commented chess games here on my YouTube chess channel, check out our commented chess games playlist. Here's the link. And if you want to see even more brutal, even more attacking games also performed by top engines, check out our commented chess games played by computer series. Here's also the link. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.